Hey, what's up people? I'm Manifest Beast. This video was a special request by someone by the name of V12 Scrap baby. They made a really good video and requested me to respond to it. Like my response and my reaction. So yeah, big shout out to V12 Scrap baby. Thanks for the idea. The video was really good, I liked it. The video in question was about Need for Speed Most Wanted 2 needs to be a reality, according to the thumbnail. Without further ado, let's begin.
As you saw on the title, yes, we are gonna talk about MW 2012, but not MW 2012 the beta version of it. You gonna ask? What's the point of making this video? It's useless. Everyone saw those videos from beta builds. Well, I guess I found the problem that caused to get it cancelled.
So they start off the video, and I can already tell it's gonna be a very interesting topic to discuss, because honestly I never looked at Most Wanted 2012 the same way after I found all the beta builds and stuff.
Why I'm going to a bit roast the community is because in my opinion it's their fault. Why? Because they wanted fucking overrated Underground 3. Underground 3? Are you serious?
Personally, I would not hate on an Underground 3 being the next game in the Need for Speed franchise. However, the way EA treats their developers, that's a whole other jar of worms. I'll be honest, the community is a bit questionable. Well, that's a bit of an understatement. They can't seem to be happy with whatever game is released. No, I'm not saying every single fan. No. There are fans of a lot of series in Need for Speed because of how big the franchise has become over the years. Remember, Need for Speed has existed since 1994. You know how long that is? But yeah, the Underground fan base, sure, they make up a large part of the current fan base. Honestly, Need for Speed has existed before Underground. I'm not saying that Underground 1 or 2 are bad games. No. I love them as much as anyone else. But yeah, the community, they do stupid things, I'll admit. And others just ruin the franchise for everyone else. I always thought to myself, why can't the Underground fans accept that Need for Speed Carbon is a Underground 3? Well, a spiritual successor to Underground 2. Because of the immense customization, the tuner cars, a bigger list compared to Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. Heck, Palmont City, which was the setting of Carbon, had no daylight. I guess Need for Speed Carbon is indeed Underground 3. Or at least that's how I think about it.
I mean, I understand why people wanted it. Because back in 2010s people loved to tune and customize their vehicles. And so they didn't like Rivals and shit. But to be honest, is Rivals such bad game? I mean, it's basically like MW 2005. Why? Because also in MW 2005 they had annoying cops as well, to be honest. Now my opinion now on the trio of NFS, NFS Underground, NFS Underground 2 and NFS MW 2005. They fucking overrated.
People have been customizing cars for a very, very long time, even before the 2010s. Heck, that's why Need for Speed Underground and Underground 2 came to be. But yeah, I understand. At that time, yeah, the early 2010s, people were really like into wanting an Underground 3, at least from what I witnessed. And yeah, the fan base didn't like Rivals nor Hot Pursuit 2010, which those two were good games in my opinion, really were. It's just that Rivals was a bit rushed. Well, I mean, it was very rushed, but it wasn't rushed to the point that it was a terrible game. I still enjoy Rivals to this day. And yeah, both both games, Rivals and Most Wanted 2005, they do have annoying cops. It's just that Need for Speed Rivals cops, they chase you even when you're going in the speed limit. I don't know why, but they just do. In Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, you would have to be breaking the law on the roads of Rockport in order for the police to be called. But yeah, I get what you mean about the cops being chaotic. About those 3 games you listed. Sure, yeah, they are overrated in a sense that so many fanboys look up to these games and they literally deny any other Need for Speed game. Heck, one of the top Need for Speed influencers, I won't say his name, he himself is not a fan of the games before Underground. So yeah, I guess you can say that's one thing I don't understand about the Need for Speed community, or the current ones. I remembered seeing some fanboys of the Underground era games saying that Underground 1 and Underground 2 were the best Need for Speed games of all time. Now, I'm not saying that those games aren't best, because obviously I love all Need for Speed games. So for me, I would say the Underground series are one of the best, not the best, but one of the best, because they have their own unique taste. Hot Pursuit 2 was about racing exotic cars, and Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2 were about pimping out cool Peugeots, personally in my opinion, yeah. All these other cool JDM tuner cars. Most Wanted 2005 was like, it was a spiritual successor to Hot Pursuit 2, which combined elements of Underground 1, Underground 2. And I think Need for Speed Carbon is like Most Wanted, but leaning towards the side of Underground due to its vast customization.
And guess what? People want remasters of these 3 games.
I don't know why, but I think I have a very strong feeling that if Need for Speed Underground 1, 2, and Most Wanted 2005 were to get remastered, nobody would buy them. I have a really strong feeling because it's just how people are, I guess. They cry for something, and then when it comes out, they don't buy it. Also, aren't the licenses for like the vehicles and the music, aren't they really expired? Like really expired? Because some of the manufacturers, like Toyota, I guess they don't want to appear in any other Need for Speed game in the future. Sadly. Yeah, that's what I heard, because there was like a tweet and Toyota stated that they would no longer make or have their cars featured in games that promote illegal street racing, which is actually kind of ironic since Midnight Club, Need for Speed, and all those other games, they made Toyota famous alongside many other car brands. I guess they just don't realize it.
Why I call them shitty and overrated is because our community is simping on them. You know, there are so much better racing games that were released, and they deserved attention that it needed. Because like both of them, S/S and Blur 2 was planned a sequel, but they have been sold terribly.
Honestly, them simping over the Underground games and Most Wanted 2005, yeah, that is annoying. Really is. And it's sad to see that's the majority of the current Need for Speed fans. Why can't we have more people that enjoy all the Need for Speed games, regardless of what theme they have? And yeah, about Split Second and Blur, those games were... I love those games. I knew Blur for longer, but Split Second I knew recently thanks to the backwards compatibility program. Those games deserve sequels, yes, I agree. Those games deserve sequels. And I remembered playing Blur a long time ago on my PS3 with family and friends. The split screen was a beautiful. That's something Need for Speed lacks. And it's heartbreaking that split screen, a fun and convenient game mode, doesn't exist in these new games that have potential to be very, very good experiences.
You know what's funny thing? When the game is so good, how players say it gets overrated after years. And after that you just get cringe.
Nostalgia can be a really powerful drug. And honestly, I have my own anger towards EA for not bringing back Razor, you know, the main antagonist of Most Wanted 2005, in a console release of Need for Speed. Only a mobile game? No limits? That's ridiculous. They brought back Eddie, why not Razor? But yeah, I guess it's gotten to the point that, you know what? We need to move on because EA is not smart enough to fund a game in which so many of the nostalgia-ridden fans would enjoy. But you know what? That's EA's fault. If they had played their cards right, we could have gotten an ultimate Need for Speed experience with all our favorite characters, all of our beautiful lady friends in the Need for Speed games, you know, like Rachel, Samantha, all those hotties. A lot of Need for Speed fans want to see, like, I don't know how many, but let's just say at least one Need for Speed game to have all these characters return. But EA is not doing it. I'm okay with the Underground series and Most Wanted not being remastered because keyword remastered. They're not adding anything new to the games. Like no new storyline, no new characters, no new anything. And it's just the same game but with prettier graphics. Personally, I'm okay with the Underground series and Most Wanted getting a sequel, not a remake, because those games are so old that we need to see continuations of those games' stories. But I guess the whole storyline of those games have ended. And you see, the big problem is, what if EA decides to mess up a sequel to Need for Speed Underground 2 or Need for Speed Carbon or any of their past games that the fans really like? Yeah, I have a really strong feeling that EA would mess up those games.
I even get cringe of MW 2005 startup music. Like that's just okay. You know what? Move on.
If you don't like the Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 startup music, that is alright. I respect that. However, I love the soundtrack of Most Wanted 2005. Not every single song, but there's a huge majority of songs that I liked.
Those games need rest now. I don't say that you have to stop playing them. But just leave them, let them be legends. Give new chances of new NFS.
I'm personally okay with either a sequel to the past games or a fresh new entry. What matters to me is that those games need to be polished, they need to be bug and glitch free for the most part, because the developers can't find every single error in the game. And EA better keep monetization away from that new Need for Speed, whatever it may be. As I said earlier, I love all Need for Speed games, but it needs to be an experience that is worth buying. Remember, gaming has gone up by $10 in the PS5 era. It's ridiculous, yes, but that's what happened.
and the thing is players did it. But guess what? All of these mods that are new NFS like Project Unite and car mods for NFS Payback. Trash. Why? You have to buy licensed version of the game on fucking PC.
I personally love those games, but I understand that you have to like throw away your hard-earned cash towards EA just to access those games. I understand that. And unless if we see change for the better, people shouldn't really give their money to EA.
What's wrong with crap games? Okay. I understand that we need cash and bread. Even in these hard days. But why not make all these mods compatible with crack new NFS like NFS 2015, Payback and Heat?
Personally, I'm not really experienced in modding or PC gaming in general. I'm more of a console player, I admit, but I respect and admire PC gaming. The problem with Need for Speed 2015 is that game was online only. Isn't there some form of online restriction that you need to be connected to the internet in order to play that game? And Payback had those disgusting speed cards that nobody liked. Need for Speed Heat. Well, that game was amazing. I mean, all those games were. It's just that Heat had the promise of being more expensive, and EA just poof cut life support of that game.
You guys also say that new NFS are shit. Then why you make big mods that they are actually good for only PC and for licensed games? In my opinion, these mods for like a month maximum. And I kinda understand why buying the same game that you already played, for example on PS4, is waste of cash.
Well, there are some people who like those games, so they make mods for those games. I mean, like for Need for Speed Heat, I was able to understand how to mod that game to a certain degree, and that's how I was able to add like the Ford Crown Vic and the Dodge Charger, future videos, to my car collection in Need for Speed Heat, the PC version. But modding console, it's just impossible because you're gonna get sued by Sony, I guess, for violating the end user license agreement that they have, something like that. But yeah, some people just really enjoy modding and they're very talented at it. Personally, I am not, because I'm more of a console player.
Now finally, to my topic, why NFS MW 2012 should be recreated to its original prototype concept. The answer is the law.
Yes, I am in full support of Criterion getting a second chance to make Need for Speed Most Wanted 2. You do know how much content was cut from that game. And yeah, the lore, yes, I agree that the lore is part of the reason why we need a Most Wanted 2. There are so many questions that need to be answered.
Do you know how the fuck Mercer from NFS Heat got the M3 GTR? I guess you don't.
I wondered the same thing. How on earth did the Rockport fugitive get his M3 GTR all the way from Palmont City to Palm City? How? That's a really good question. How on earth did the M3 GTR from Need for Speed Carbon end up all the way in Need for Speed Heat? Is it even the same car?
Because not in new or old NFS will tell you when and how Ryan Cooper got that DTM BMW.
We do not know for sure if Ryan Cooper is the same protagonist of Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 and Need for Speed Carbon. We just don't know. The closest we can ever get to some form of clue is when in Need for Speed Undercover, Ryan Cooper was mentioned being arrested.
Dispatch, I got a guy resisting arrest here. He's in the back seat of my cruiser. He's not talking, and he refuses to take off his racing helmet. Got his ID here. Surname Cooper, first name Ryan. You run a check for priors? I don't know, something not right about this guy.
Roger that.
That is a whole other can of worms. How on earth did Ryan Cooper get all the way to Tri-City Bay? What happened between the events of Pro Street and Undercover? Did Ryan Cooper, go back into his old ways of illegal street racing? There's no confirmation whatsoever.
That a fucking race car on the street. Even his girlfriend Rachel doesn't have such money to buy the race Le Mans car. And so, right now we can only imagine the story, how it's supposed to be in MW2 beta.
If there was a chance Need for Speed Most Wanted 2 could answer the question about Ryan Cooper being the same protagonist of Most Wanted 2005, I think that would be awesome. But in the original beta of Need for Speed Most Wanted 2, the driver character, who was the same protagonist from Most Wanted 2005, he spoke, literally. He said he was also on the run for 7 years. So that would kind of cancel out the theory that he would be Ryan Cooper, because Ryan Cooper, according to that Easter egg that was just shown, Ryan Cooper was arrested by the Tri-City Bay Police Department. Who knows, maybe Ryan Cooper had escaped prison somehow. The only way we can have these questions, these loose ends tied up, is if Criterion is able to look back on the history of those black box era games and make up a really cool game that has both fresh, new, and old elements. The best of both worlds. If you know me, I am a strong believer that all Need for Speed games that released are connected in the same universe. That's just my thoughts.
If we won't stop crying and start making revolution against EA and make that Criterion will ask EA to recreate the OG MW2 concept, we will know the truth. Band together Need for Speed fans. Time to make a revolution against EA. If you scared that EA will ban your accounts, then they are dictators as well. We need to fight against the evil. And if we will talk more about the unreleased MW 2012 to make EA much ashamed, they might do it. Even though maybe they banned one video. But I guess it's the only way. Thanks for watching. I hope you will understand my point. If you watched to here, it was nice to meet you, and also subscribe, and like the video, and share to every NFS fan you have. It's time to make NFS dark and serious again.
Just like that, the video ends. V12 Scrap baby, that was a really, really good video. I liked it. Of course, about the Need for Speed fans coming together, I don't know if that's possible because there are so many fans of the games. There's all these games have different elements from one another. Yeah, the fans should band together. If we want to see a Most Wanted 2, a continuation that has new elements such as hiding spots, pursuit breakers, carjacking, even though not in the style of GTA, but just like in Undercover and The Run. I would love to see a new Need for Speed game. No microtransactions, no cutting parts of the base game to sell as DLC. It has to be complete. The only way we can stop EA from releasing unfinished products is to vote with our wallets. Don't let the hype fool you. And remember, this is EA, the same company that wants to push loot boxes on their games. So this was my reaction to V12 Scrap Baby's video. Really nice video. And yeah, big shout out to you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a big thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to support this channel. My name is NFS Beast, and peace out, peeps.